It is an uprising that started in the hopeful days of the Arab Spring last year, when tyrants from Egypt to Libya were being overthrown. But the fight in Syria has dragged on and spiraled into a brutal civil war. But now it may be reaching a tipping point. ABC's Alex Marquardt and Nightline producer Bartley Price traveled behind rebel lines to bring us this dramatic report from just outside Aleppo, Syria.
It's the most decisive battle of the 17-month-long uprising. The fight for Aleppo, Syria's biggest city. Victory by rebel fighters here could mean the end of the 40-year dictatorship of the family of President Bashar al-Assad. The combat street to street in this ancient and storied city. The toll brutal for civilians and fighters on both sides. As the fighting intensifies, we're invited to join a group of young rebels in a safe house just 20 miles away. It's kind of a last supper. Tonight, they're going to join the fight. Are any of you afraid about going to fight tonight? No, 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 says Ali. We're only afraid of God. They're all defectors from the Syrian army, barely 20 years old. The mood is light. They joke. 21-year-old Mohammed tells us about his fiancée. No sign they're nervous about the enemy waiting for them just down the road. Then it's time to gear up. They eagerly wait for their names to be called. Weapons are handed out. AK-47s, rocket-propelled grenades. Like David's sling against Goliath's tanks and helicopters they'll face in just a few hours. We go back to the home where a local family is putting us up. There, we meet a young English teacher who says the government forces arrested him, and for 4 days, he was tortured.
Merciless. They told me that they would let me die slowly, like a dog or an animal, because I'm not a human.
He was repeatedly hit with the butts of rifles. Simply, he says, because he's from this town which is no longer controlled by Assad forces.
Really, they are not people. It's hard to describe them.
It's stories like his that have fueled what is now clearly a civil war, pitting Syrian against Syrian. So far, an estimated 20,000 people have been killed. But as in any conflict, the fog of war blurs lines and challenges preconceived notions. Here in Syria, it's not just a civil war. We drive out of town looking for an ancient church, where we've been told we can find foreign Islamic militants. They've been streaming in from across the Muslim world. Their goal? To help take down President Assad and create an Islamic State. As we get close, we run right into 2 cars full of them, heavily armed and angry to see us. So we hide our camera. Well, that was interesting. We were stopped by a van full of what were clearly fundamentalist fighters. They stopped our car. They all had AK-47s. They wanted to see our passports and IDs. Clearly very unhappy to see us. What was quite interesting is they were speaking Arabic with a non-Syrian accent as well as other languages. So we got out of there really fast. And now we're going to lie low for a little bit. Even more sinister, and this is what really makes the United States nervous, Al-Qaeda has joined the fight, carrying out a wave of attacks and suicide bombings. And this is a place where things are often not as simple as they seem. What happened to your neck? We meet Mir Y, 8 years old. He tells us the slashes on his throat come from Assad soldiers who dragged him with a wire noose, trying to find out where his father was. It seems, given all we'd seen and heard, a plausible story. But the next day, Mir Y breaks down in tears. He has a confession. He tells us he was told by his uncle to lie to us. His wounds, he says, come from an accident. His friends show us the weapons their little village has faced. Why are you holding on to this shrapnel? For the media, he says. We quickly learn it's a very fine line between civilian and rebel soldier. The morning after our last supper with those rebel fighters, we meet the Fondo brothers. Nofal, the accountant, Mahmoud, the chicken farmer, and Abu Hassan, the baker. They haven't worked those jobs in a while, because now their job is to fight and win a revolution. We're proud to fight together, says Abu Hassan. Fighting beside your older brother gives you more courage to fight. Abu Hassan's son and another brother are currently off fighting to take Aleppo. Aren't you worried that 4 brothers fighting together, that you could all die and leave your children without any fathers, your wives without any husbands? How can we see all of this happening and not fight for our dignity and freedom, says Mahmoud. We have to fight this oppressor, and we don't care if we die. Up on the roof of the Fondo family's home, 7-year-old Tasneem sings about battling the dictator. An act unthinkable just 18 months ago. But the war has changed everyone. When it started, they tell us, the little girl used to cry and hide in the bathroom as shells rained down on the town. Now, she comes up to the roof to watch where they're falling. For Nightline, I'm Alex Marquardt in northern Syria.